watch some of it.
Okay.
Why didn't the guy have his camera on?
Who knows? He did have it the other day, but I don't know. I guess it didn't work for some reason. Maybe he
Um,
was using doing something
He
wrong.
said
Who knows?
he said he was using OBS, but that's what he had to use Discord. But he didn't have it working on Discord either. So
I used OBS and I had the timer and the thing, and it kind of works perfect with
maybe he
StreamYard.
doesn't know how to use virtual camera. Or
Flair for the technology. It's a stereotype for a reason.
Well, and they also could have just used StreamYards. I mean, they have all that set up, so you didn't have to use OBS. So
yeah, I don't know.
Mexican American asked if he got booted. No, the show ended. They debated like almost 2 hours. We asked him a bunch of questions, and he went over back to his audience. And now we're just like hanging out here. No, why would he get booted? No.
Oz, we still have to do our debate where I'm playing the flat earther. We still haven't done that yet.
Dude, I'm trying to get a flat earther to come argue as a glober.
They're not going to do that. They can't
don't
straw
do
man.
that.
Well, they don't
Yeah,
know how to
but
straw man the argument. Do you think
No.
a flat earther can straw man? They think that they don't know how to do it fairly.
yeah. Well, I will say, Issa, if you were the flat earther and the flat earther was a glober, you would end up winning.
I think I can
Oh.
I can represent the flat earther's position better than they can represent a global.
Johnny is
Yeah.
right. Steelman, not strawman.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Steel
think
Man.
yes. What were you? Do you want to show that to us and we can? Oh shoot! As soon as I asked him that, he got dropped. Must be a NASA conspiracy. They don't want him to show the truth. Hail Satan!
I think he pushed the wrong button. Yeah,
I pushed
it
the
was.
wrong button.
Yeah, see, I called it. I called it. I called it.
Very well. You must be a prophet. So hold on. Also, I'm going to make you big. There we go.
So that's my pressure chamber. See, look. So now I can put soda cans in here during the debate and show them that it doesn't blow up.
Yeah. Oh,
Live.
hey Ozine, did you see that video I sent you on Discord? I think it'd be great for debates.
Oh my lord! Wait. Taking Bucky and says the pressure chamber bottom is flat. Matters now.
Yeah. I'll make it curved. Why does that matter? I can make it curved. There's another one. Look what I got over here.
Wow.
See this? This is a big, huge. I don't know if you can see it. I got. I need to get it working right, but I got. I don't know if you can see it, but I got lasers and water tank. I got different color lasers.
Huh.
So I can point them through the water to show refraction. And then I got test tubes because, I don't know. See. So I got that. And I got test tubes to do, like people don't understand, like when you fill up the test tube, like how the water will curve around the lip and stuff like that. So I can show that type of stuff and like do colored water. And I got coloring liquid. And then I also bought cookie cutters of letters, and I'm going to do like make a salad with the cookie colors.
Word salad.
Word salad.
I got that right away. That was great. I liked your mind on that one. That was awesome.
Our good friend Billy asked of Giovanni, "Do you have any empirical evidence or not?" And I don't know if we all agree, but
he's gone.
He was more on the not side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did.
The inventions.
he didn't understand the physics involved. He said that, right? He said he didn't have to understand it.
Yeah.
And it's not a physical claim, so it's an historical claim, right? And I want to make that clear. The moon landing is a historical claim. So he says it's an extraordinary historical claim, so it requires extraordinary evidence. Well, it's not an extraordinary or historical claim. It's a unextraordinary. It'd be extraordinary if it was like a supernatural claim or something like that, or if it was physically impossible. But I showed how it was. I mean, I didn't show everything for how it was physically impossible, but he didn't know enough about the topic to be able to ask me any questions about the physical claims of going to the moon.
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking him those questions. Like, you don't even understand the physical claim, so you can't even press me on any of it, like the Van Allen belts, like how we landed, like how we took off. Like all he said, well, we played golf.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
Val asked 3 questions, and I think they're jokes. What golf course did they play on? How
Yeah.
many holes did they play? Who chose golf?
Yeah, we covered that too. They didn't play golf. They hit golf balls.
Yeah.
But he's saying that's play golf. I'm like, whatever.
Well, one thing
Like-
I will say on the Buzz thing about him punching the guy, like from what I remember is I remember that guy that got punched, he actually had like many videos of him actually like stalking Buzz before he ended up getting punched. But there's also been, like, because he brought up paparazzi, it's like there's been paparazzi that have been punched in the face too, because they were literally stalking these celebrities. And the celebrity was like, I'm done with it. I'm punching you in the face. I mean, there's even some that have stolen their cameras and ran off with them because they're just sick and tired of it. They're just like, leave me alone. You got your pictures. Go away. Like, damn. It's like I would have punched the guy too if he kept getting in my face. Be like, oh, prove this, prove that. I'm like, dude, like, go away. No, you need to prove it. Like, dude, back off or I'm going to punch you. Like, I'm giving you a choice.
Oh, wait, this one. Space Squirrel asked, and I thought that maybe I wasn't the only one that caught this when he talked about the regime. What that is a different way of hearing the they that we typically hear in this kind of things, right? That was interesting. I don't know. At the very least, the change on the word to me makes it a bit interesting. Like the regime, it makes it sound somehow different from they.
Yeah. One thing I will say, whenever I hear like people say like everything the government says is a lie, it makes me kind of want to have the government come out being like, breathing air is good for you. Be like, well, they said that's true, so you better do the opposite.
The casual engineer says, thanks for the info. We'll look it up. You're welcome. I was
about the math, Dr. Bennett. Yeah. And if somebody asked me about the name of let me just send. It's Giovanni, Watch Frog Agent. I'll send it. McTune's asking me about MC Tunes. Who I just debated.
Oh, okay. Hello to MC Tune.
I don't think he's watching.
Yeah, I can tell hello anyway.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'll give you props on, Ozian, is, there was a couple things you did make a mistake on, but you looked it up instantly and you're like, okay, I was wrong. See, at least with you're willing to be like, hey, yeah, I was wrong on something. But it seems like a lot of people that are living in these conspiracy worlds, it's like, even if you give them the evidence or show them how it works, they're just like, no, that's still false.
Like stalking. I'm pretty sure when I learned in law school, like 15 years ago, that it wasn't the law in every jurisdiction, or it wasn't when the book was written, but it was working towards that.
Because there's still
because of all these problems.
Yeah, because there's still some things that aren't the same in all states, but eventually they get on the same track because the government comes to them saying, hey, this should be brought across the entire country. We're not going to make a law, but we would like you to make it a law in your jurisdiction. So
yeah,
Objection.
but I don't just assume. I go look it up. Like even like the way murder's handled, is different in every state.
Yeah.
Like and it's different. Common law and model penal code are different too, and we learned both. But even that's not applied the same in every state. And we learned common law mainly in model penal code in law school. Common law first, then model penal code, and then torts, and then anyways, we learn all that shit. So it's not like we're learning. But once you become a lawyer, you have to learn the law in that state. And I'm not a licensed lawyer,
yeah.
Anyway, I work as an engineer. It does like I wouldn't call myself a lawyer just because I went to law school. I'm not a lawyer.
GBS Warrior has a really interesting message. I got to have a conversation with James Irwin, and he was quite open about his time on the moon, his thoughts on several topics. He was a fascinating man. That is pretty cool that you got to meet him.
Yeah. Now I bet those astronauts wouldn't be, like too hostile if you're just like, hey, like, what do you think about these people saying you didn't go to the moon? Like, I'm just curious on that, than just being like, oh, you faked it, you're a liar, you're a this, you're a that. Because at that point, you're like coming at the person, you're accusing them of stuff even though there's evidence of it. It's just,
Space Squirrel, Oz is too nice and honest for these people. And Isa, how did you see him? Do you expect anything? Like, when did you arrive to?
I came towards probably the end. I mean, I'm just I'm not impressed with these ridiculous stories. You see, I'm a very open-minded person that's willing to listen and learn, right? And I've been to so many of these moon landings, so many of these flat Earth. It's always the same arguments. It's always the operation, the regime, the organization, the Jews. Like every single thing that is not true is stated, and it's all fear-based. It's not based on any evidence. And I think what Oz just said right now is valid. If I was going to argue for the moon landing being false, I would say, well, first, I would not argue conspiracy theory. I would argue and say, you know what? The United States was in a Cold War race, right? So they lied because they wanted to be put ahead, right? I wouldn't say that they're great and amazing, but that would be the kind of platform that I would take. And I know Oz's counter argument to that, but I'd be like, that would be my premise. I would say, how could the United States even go? They have to get through radiation, which he brought up. That's actually a good argument. See, Oz is bringing up the arguments that a smart person would bring up for this type of contention. But these people are, I don't know what to say. But
I know.
I would say the arguments I would bring if I was a flat earther, I would say, look, I mean, not flat earther, moon landing hoax. I would say, look, America wanted to win this race, so they would say whatever they needed to win it, right? So this lie has been preserved throughout time. I would say the technology was not strong enough. How 60 sucked. How could you bring a ship to the moon with this low class technology? Now maybe with all our iPhones and stuff like that, that could be possible, right? I would have made that argument. I would have made the argument about radiation. I would have made an argument about refuse. I would have made an argument about how could you have food for all that time? These are the kind of arguments I would have made, which are actually sensible and rational things that a rational human being asks. So that would be my structure of argument. I would have used all of those arguments, but they didn't use any of them. It's just nonsense regime and bullcrap and nonsense.
Yeah.
Yes, the strategy seemed to go and mention the moon landing and go towards something else. Like, not.
Well, and
not
the other
sticking
thing,
to it came a point that I saw that it was going to just be like that, and I said, well, okay, I'm going to stop trying to bring it back to like the specific. This guy seems to be just doing like that.
Yeah.
Because every
Well,
time we just spent like 30 seconds on the moon landing and then went straight to something else.
yeah.
But mostly
Well,
on his side, right? On Giovanni's side. Yes,
well, and the
Marlon,
other thing
sorry.
I see, no, you're fine. It's just my ADHD brain. And the other thing I've noticed is like anytime I've watched moon landing, denier stuff, which by the way, I've said previously that, when I was much younger, I used to believe that the moon landing was fake, but it was Mythbusters that helped change me by actually building models. But the thing I noticed with these people is that they use the same photos over and over again, even though there are so many more photos out there that exist that would completely show that what they believe is fake. That we actually did go to the moon, because there are so many photos of them away from the craft a good distance in many different areas. Plus the one thing I always hear, especially I heard during this debate, was like, we left all this stuff on the moon, but even with the best telescopes on Earth, we still can't see the stuff on the moon. And the way I look at it is like, that would be like trying to see an ant on Earth from an airplane with the best telescope you can get. You're just not going to see it. It's so small compared to how big, the moon is. It's just, now we do have pictures of it by them, like China or other countries actually sending spacecrafts, satellites around the moon and actually taking closer pictures that way. So because at that point it'd be like a drone, flying over at a low altitude, taking pictures of small little objects than, from a plane, so to speak. So.
All right. Thank you very much. Or do you have anything else you would have liked to talk about more specifically during the debate?
Oh, I gave him like pointers last time and stuff to look up, and he didn't bother.
Mm-hmm.
He just went with the same general, like, he doesn't trust anything the government says.
Right.
So, like, disappointed.
So you know what would be a better argument? It's not just moon landing. Why don't you say our government conspiracy is true? Like, should we believe everything is from the government? That would be a more interesting conversation, because then you can cover a lot more conspiracies. But just like the moon landing, because like the point is, it's not that you don't believe that the moon landing is fake. You believe everything that the government says is fake. That's actually a more interesting premise, I think, to engage, even on modern day debates.
Yeah.
Speaking
That's what
of
he
that,
argued. But then you run into problems with stuff that YouTube cancels. So
oh my, oh yes, it's like figure that out. It's been a thing for a while now. Just like, come on.
Well, and the other thing I noticed is like all these conspiracy theories start coming out. It's like you're on a topic, and then all of a sudden it's like the Illuminati or this or that. I'm like, wait, what? How did we get here to this position? Like that just like went like we just took a hard left turn down, a dirt road. It's like we left the main road here.
To me, it was a problem moderating, because I got the same laugh reactions that I get with like Evidence of God. So I had to spend, and I thought it was better to just leave you guys there. But I got tempted of laughing a couple of times because of the lack of argument, mostly.
Yeah.
And some of the claims were pretty wild that made me go like, okay.
I'm still upset with Evidence of God with the slime molds. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be arguing about Noah's flood, and you're telling us about slime molds. I was like, what is this? You're wasting our time. What does a slime mold have to do with Noah's flood? You have to tell me who Noah is. You have to prove that Noah existed, historically speaking.
It's all related. It's all related in the cork thing with the string and like a beautiful binding. It, if you do that, then it all fits.
Yeah.
I just thought
That's how that works.
Is that you have so many cases you have to prove, and you're telling us about slime molds. You haven't even proven who Noah is, what Noah is, what the flood was. Is it localized? Is it globalized? He didn't say anything in either of his debates. I'm like, dude, what you tell us about is Atlantean theory and Anunnaki, and other religions having things. I'm like, that's cool, but that's not what you're supposed to be doing here. You have to prove Noah's flood, which you have not done. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
God, these
Well,
debaters need help.
I'm debating T-Rock on did men walk with dinosaurs on the second.
Oh my goodness.
That's going to be fun.
So we'll see what happens. So I'm studying evolution because I know it's going to come up, and I'm not really like big on biology, but I got notes. I got 86 pages of notes to study.
Well, I mean, in some kind of definition, I mean, you can walk with dinosaurs. It's just they're more tasty than they are terrifying.
I mean, that's really not what we mean by dinosaurs.
I know,
but yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I just had to throw that in there. So, because most birds are dinosaur or evolved from dinosaurs. So, and they're delicious.
This came up during the debate, and I thought that I would save it to ask. George Lakoff pointed out that just giving guys like this a platform to speak and repeating phrases like Landing Hoax reinforces the hoaxes, even if you're against them. That's an interesting idea.
I don't
But
agree.
it's a weird thing because we know that the supporters, like the people, however many they were that were on his channel, that they mostly just believed that. If we didn't, if someone makes a compelling case, I don't think anyone like from this audience or from their audience would kind of change their mind, unless it would be something like overwhelming. But those things are rare. But it's still good to bring the discussion to the forefront for a little bit to show which one side has evidence and the other just has whatever what we just had was. So also, what do you think? You said you kind of agree. Want to
No, I don't
elaborate a little
agree.
bit? Oh,
I
okay.
don't
Sorry.
agree. Here's why: because you don't learn how to falsify those claims unless you study the claims that they're making to learn how to falsify them, and then you can educate other people. So when they're exposed to such memes or these social media claims online and stuff like that, the risk is involved when these people come online and you don't have any way to falsify the claims and they sound like they're educated or whatnot on the claims. And I understand that. But that's why it's important to become educated on the topic. And if you listen to that entire debate, the only thing he had was he just doesn't trust anything that the government said. And all I had was that I could show was the evidence. Like, I could show more pictures and stuff like that. My other presentation had many more pictures. I should have probably left all my pictures in there. It's probably better. But maybe I'll change it back, put the pictures back. But testimonial evidence, pictures, videos, that is actual evidence for the claim, understanding the physics involved, understanding what it takes to justify an historical claim. That is important. And then when people are confronted by these claims from friends and families, then they understand how to refute them so they're not convinced by the claims. So I totally disagree with that philosopher. Now, should like a news agency be taking them seriously? I don't know. I don't know. But when you go to a traditional school and a traditional education, you learn physics, right? You learn what is true about physics, but you don't learn how to confront what is false, right? And it takes a lot of skill to be able to deconstruct false claims and be able to reconstruct the truth. And learning how to do that is a skill set. And listening to these debates gives you the skills to be able to do that. So I reject it. I do not accept it as true.
All right. Batman, Isa, any thoughts? Let me pull it back up.
I have a position on this. So Oz and I are actually politically on the same space. I'm a libertarian too, so I'm a very big promoter of free speech. I don't believe in silencing speech, and I think that's a big problem. The so-called left likes to keep silencing speech and saying, "Well, it's wrong," and I'm like, "Guess what? You lose the moral high ground in this position because you're saying, well, I'm going to silence you because I'm right.' Well, what about if someone silences you? You don't want that. What you want to do is have an open marketplace of ideas. The marketplace of ideas is important, where everybody can bring their positions and then you can bring your counterpoints. I think that has to be the place because I don't want to be silenced. So I'm not going to silence other people. I believe in the platinum rule. Even if I disagree, I'm like, dude, I think this is insane. I want you to come out because then we can discuss these points. So that's where I stand.
All right. Thank you very much. Batman, do you have an opinion on this?
Which point again? Sorry.
The one that's on your screen right now.
Oh, my brain's not working right now.
Do you
I
think
mean,
giving hoaxers a platform is good?
Yeah, I
for-
think it's okay. As long as they're not calling for harm or violence against somebody else. Because at the end of the day, it's like I've said, this is the reason why I don't like how platforms, especially like YouTube and others, silence certain topics. Because for me, it's like I want to know how people think and why they think that way. Because by knowing more about how a lot of these people think, it makes me understand, what's going on and possibly find better ways of combating it, in a more logical way, the best I can, because I'm not the most smartest person ever, but I do the best I can, so at the end of the day, yes, I think it's absolutely okay, and they should be allowed to speak how they want and say what they want, as long as, like I said, doesn't cause for harm against somebody else or anything like that. So like if they say, we need to hurt somebody, I'd be like, no, that's where you that's gone too far. But at the end of the day, it's, I want to know where people think. I want to know, that's why when I go on different social medias, I want to know how people think, why they think the way they do. Of course, when I try to speak out against it or against or try to bring up logical points, you do get attacked, but it's just good to know where people are, because a lot of people keep things that they think to themselves, and that can sometimes be harmful, because like even in any group, doesn't matter what it is, if people surround themselves with people that always think the same way they do, it just creates an echo chamber. You need somebody on the outside questioning things so that you're not stuck in this little chamber, so that's why I'm always trying to find differing opinions, different ways of looking at things, and even watching debates, because it makes me go, well, they're wrong, but it's good to know what they're thinking. So
All right. Thank you very much. Right. It's getting a bit late for me. So, do you want anything else you want to say for today?
I think I got a show in like however many hours it is from now.
Let me check because I don't remember.
and you're frozen right now, Ozian.
So I got a show tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Yes, but it's
So on Sunday,
Sunday.
8 p.m.
Sunday 8 p.m. and Sunday at 12:15 at midday, we have the pre-show, and then the after show for a debate that Failsoid is going to have on MDD
Yeah.
with Peter Markley, and we'll
And
see how
Peter-
that goes. I mean, we like Failsoid is it's a guaranteed laughter fest. So
Yeah. And we will have Peter for the after show. So
Oh yes, awesome.
yeah.
Oh, I sent him a message too. That's cool.
Yeah.
I sent him a message on TikTok.
Oh
Yeah, I actually found his video just scrolling through, found it, told him about, coming on to Matters Now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I messaged him the other day.
Sent another super chat and said, "Good night, guys. Good show as always.
Thanks.
Thank you so much." And so yeah, we have 2 shows scheduled for Sunday. This week we covered the Sufi stories with Isa in the Tell Me That Story show. We did the show for Mark Reed and Evidence of Code. We did the after show over at Mark Reed's channel, and Oz did a show reviewing the Phone Booth podcast with FTFE interaction, and it was hilarious. I went to sleep early that day, so I didn't catch it. I caught the replay, and I couldn't stop laughing. It was it was insane.
We had Artem on afterward at the end.
Yes.
I only did 40 minutes, but Artem came on, and we had a little bit of discussion about the flat Earth, and hopefully
Yes.
Artem comes back on. He was Artem seems to be a really genuine person. I really appreciated that he came on, and so it'd be good to have
Yes,
him.
I saw him later or the next day on MC Toon's chat, and MC Toon made him a mod. But yeah, it was an interesting discussion. And so far, that's the rest of what we've had this week so far, and the rest of the things we're going to have over for this week here on Matters Now. Thank you so much, everyone, for being there. It was a fun debate. I think Giovanni needs to improve a little better, maybe get some more arguments, but other than that, it was very interesting. Thank you, everyone, for being there, and we'll meet you back here on Sunday. Remember to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other. Go to the corner of your house, like to the corner, and find the most annoying neighbor and yell to them, "Subscribe to Matters Now!" And maybe that way you can start a friendship. Who knows? Thank you, everyone. We'll meet you here Monday, and bye. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night.